Everybody for joining today. We're going to be doing this installment of our monthly webinar on our Trinity operating system, which we've just released. Today you'll be hearing from Ramon Felder, who's our head product manager for our SmartNode line. And then you'll also be hearing from Mark Aberhard, who oversees our software development. So he oversees smartware development and also our Trinity software, our new operating system. So I'll go ahead and pass it to Ramon here in just a second, but just as a rule of housekeeping, if you do have any questions, please enter them into the questions interface, and then we will come back to them at the end of this webinar in our Q&A session. And if you do have any questions thereafter, you can always contact any of us or contact support or sales@patent.com. So I'll go ahead and pass it off to Ramon, and he'll jump into the agenda.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Tyler. Welcome everybody also from my side. We're quite excited to be able to present you here a first glimpse at our next generation software and operating system. This will be quite a step forward for Patent and our product line, and we'll give you as our channel here an advanced look, and you can expect more and more information around Trinity coming out over the next months and years. All right, let's have a quick look at the agenda. We have a quick introduction, just why a new operating system, what it is, and what our plans are for introducing this software into the market. And after that, I will hand over to Mark, who will give you more details about the features and give you some hands-on look into what this software looks like and what it can do. Okay, so why a new operating system? Trinity will enable us, Patent, here to significantly accelerate our product development. As you can see in that little graph, we have and as you know, we have a legacy of product. We have a wide range of products, and they have grown over the year on different hardware platforms, different CPU systems with their corresponding operating systems. So we have PowerPC architectures, we have VxWorks, we have Intel, we have ARM architectures among our product lines, and I mean the complete Patent product line, DSL, routers, modem, remote access servers, connectivity equipment, and voice over IP gear. So we're maintaining these different hardware lines, different operating systems, and different products. What Trinity will enable us to do is to consolidate the operating system there. And that's what it looks like. So with a Linux-based operating system, we'll be able to support any kind of CPU hardware architecture. We'll develop new features, new protocols, new applications once on this Trinity operating system, and have it available on many products and on all products simultaneously. So we have synergies among the product lines, and we'll have acceleration of our product development. So that's the overreaching strategy on why we have invested a lot of our R&D resources over recent years into this project, and we're now presenting this for the first time in a public way. Some of you may have heard about this in some offline discussions. Now we're able to show it, and you're able to touch it. Okay, so what is Trinity? We go to the next slide. Here, as I already mentioned, it's Linux-based. So in this simple schematic on that slide here, we're using the foundation. We're using the kernel from Linux. Of course, we use the very wide range of supported CPUs which are in Linux. We're using the tool chains, compilers, build systems, editors, etc., which are available for Linux. We're using a lot of the protocols and features which are available in Linux. Chief among them, certainly also IPv6, various security protocols, TLS, VPN protocols, etc. But then it's not just Linux. We're adding a lot of know-how on top of that. So we're, of course, doing the individual board support for our hardware, for our PSTN, ISDN ports, DSL ports, etc. We have added our own telephony protocols and call control, so all the SIP, ISDN stacks, the call routing, etc. that you are familiar with from the SmartWare is available on Trinity as part of Trinity. We do, of course, the version control, quality assurance. We have implemented a number of facilities which provide debugging and post-mortem analysis, etc., which are key tools to turning the open source Linux into really an industrial enterprise quality product. And then we do the system configuration management. We'll see the CLI, what it looks like. It's very similar to the current SmartWare CLI. We have a new web user interface, and there's various other management framework components that we have been adding. So all of these green boxes, this is our work, our stuff, our code, and we're leveraging the open source Linux parts into that complete system. So this is what Trinity is. Now on the next slide, give you a quick overview on how we plan to go to market with this system. First of all, we're starting right now. We're launching new products to the market which are running Trinity. First among them are EFM products out of our DSL product line. So we have an EFM router which is coming out up to 4 pairs, 22 meg. We have an EFM concentrator with 24 ports which is coming out. These are new products which are being launched, and they are running the Trinity operating system. Then we're making it available for those SmartNode models which are Trinity ready, where we recommend them for new installations. So for example, today the software is available for the 4970 and 80 series, and you will see later what new features and applications Trinity software enables. That's available now. And towards the beginning of next year, we'll have it available for the 4660-70 series, and we'll add support for the different WAN interfaces, DSL fiber interfaces, etc., on the SmartNode hardware. So there's a number of SmartNodes which can run both SmartWare or Trinity, and you'll see those progressively being introduced on the Trinity system. And then as we are working along, we are adding additional functionality, and we expect that at some point in 2015 that the two systems will be equivalent in terms of features, so that everything that SmartWare does today will also be supported in Trinity, and Trinity will do, of course, much more than SmartWare does today. And at this point, we will recommend it for field upgrades so that you can upgrade current SmartNode installations which are running SmartWare to a Trinity release. All along this process, of course, we'll maintain SmartWare. We'll continue to do the maintenance releases every 2 months. We continue to do feature releases every 2 months. And then after a certain number of years, the transition will be complete. Good. That's a very quick introduction, giving you a view on the strategy and the motivations behind that move. And with that, I will hand it over to Mark to give you some more details on what Trinity can do today.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. I would like to, as Ramon mentioned, give you a closer look on how Trinity looks like today. So what the current status is of the Trinity operating system, and also I would like to give you an outlook on how the roadmap looks like for Trinity. I'd like to start with an agenda of the items I would like to go through with you. First of all, the current feature set, what is available today on Trinity. I will give you some more details on that. Furthermore, I would like to give you an insight in what hardware is supported today. So you have seen it before on the slides. Some of the SmartNode models are already running on Trinity. Some of them not yet, but they will come soon. Then, as I said, the roadmap, how it looks like in terms of features, which features are going to be added soon to the Trinity operating system. Then I would like to give you some first impressions on how Trinity looks like, feels like, how the CLI looks like, and also a first view of the new Trinity Web Interface. The last point will be some information about Trinity in general, where you can find which kind of documentation, either manuals or release notes or things like that, I would like to show you at the end of my presentation. Good. Moving forward with the current features we have. So here on this slide, I tried to give you an overview about the features we currently have on Trinity. It's looking at it, it's already quite a lot which is there on Trinity. Some of the items I highlighted with the new button there is something which is like this not available on Smartware. So for instance, the stateful firewall is one thing, so that's a really cool feature in terms of assuming ESBR installations. If you would like to do SIP-to-SIP calls using a pattern gateway in between, so the firewall would be protocol aware. So that means if you do SIP calls, it will open up the right ports to make sure that the media is going through, which is usually, let's say, a bigger issue in installations like that. Then we have so far a basic IPv6 networking support. So you can configure IPv6 addresses on the SmartNode and also do IPv6 routing so far. It's not everything there in terms of IPv6 yet. For instance, SIP over IPv6 is not yet there, but that's also something which is coming soon. Another new feature is the bridging on the SmartNode units, but also, of course, on the other product lines. So it gives you the possibility to do Ethernet bridging on various devices. Furthermore, spanning tree, some of you may know. And then another new thing we currently have is the TACAX Plus, which is being used together with the AAA component on the software to do authentication to the unit. Besides that, as you can see, all the known functionalities we've had on Smartware already, or we have on Smartware, is there as well, especially for the voice part. This is something which has been ported over to Trinity as well, so it will be there, or it is there the same way as you know it's there on Smartware. So all the features like the call control, the powerful mapping tables we have, all the call routing and the call services and so on. So that's all there yet on Trinity. Another important point, which is not specifically highlighted here in terms of the IP routing, that's completely built new on Trinity, which gives a lot of powerful functionalities in terms of traffic tagging, IP routing based on various fields on the IP headers. So this is really something interesting we built here in Trinity, which enables a lot of more functionalities to be used in different kind of applications. Good. Then moving on to the current supported hardware running on Trinity. So this is in the focus of CIP products like the SmartNode products. This first release we published some days ago. It's the so-called 3.3.1 Trinity release. It can be found at the usual location on our website. So I paste you here the link where this can be downloaded from. And it is available for the SmartNode 4970, so the ISDN PRI gateway, and also for the next bigger unit, the 4980, which is a ISDN gateway router. It can be also downloaded, this software, this 3.3.1 release, to the 4991 SmartNode IID gateway router, but there be aware that the WAN boards are not yet built in Trinity, so that's a feature which is coming soon. So that means you can load Trinity on that device, but assuming you have a G.S interface on that device, it's not going to be booted up. But anyway, you can load it, you can start configuring it, you can build some basic applications with it, so that's working so far. Moving on to the ESBRs, it's basically the same there. So we have the Trinity support on the 4580 units, so that's there as well. And again, the same for the 4590s. For the ESBR, there the WAN board will not boot when loading Trinity. Another point to mention here, once you decide to load Trinity on one of those smart nodes, it's not a big deal to revert back to smartware. So for instance, if you would like to see what's Trinity, how Trinity is working, what it is giving you, and so on, so you can do that without an issue, since you have also the option to revert back to smartware again. So that's also everything there. I will show you later on in terms of guides, how this is done, how the steps are looking like to proceed this way. Good. Then moving on to the roadmap. So right now we have the August release out, the 3.3.1 Trinity release, coming next in October. So it's going to be beginning of October this year. We are having SIP TLS and SRTP support on the Trinity platform, on the Trinity software. This is something we see as a major, or as a big request, as a feature which is more and more requested out in the field. So especially together with Microsoft Lync, this is a feature which is widely used. So that's something we are working on as well in this regard. So we'll also try to pass the enhanced gateway certification for Lync, where TLS is a mandatory feature. Then, as also mentioned before, we're going to have a Trinity Web Interface. So that's something which is on the current release, which is out, is not yet enabled. So please be a little bit patient till October. It's going to be available there. And along with that, also the HTTP config import and export functionality is going to be added for that release. Next to October, the December release, going to be available beginning of December. We are going to have the PPP support on the mentioned platform and the QoS traffic scheduler. So right now we have the QoS traffic tagging functionality, where you can tag packets with diff-serve values, for instance. And in December, it's going to be the well-known traffic scheduler, which is, again, more powerful to what we have right now on smartware. further outlook on what's coming next in the coming year. So there we are going to add Trinity support also on the 4660, 4670 series, where we're going to have also the analog port support on Trinity, such as FXS, FXO, but also BRI support. And also a new thing here, we're going to add a PRI, so a primary rate interface, onto the 4660 platform. So that's scheduled for now for Q2 of next year. Furthermore, the next quarter of next year, we are going to have the band on the board support, such as mentioned here, fiber, EFM, or ADSL. Good. Then the next thing, some first impressions, how Trinity looks like. So the new web interface, remember it's going to be available in October. Anyway, I would like to take the opportunity to make use of the opportunity to give you a first insight how the new web interface looks like. So this is a first snapshot what we currently have or are going to have beginning of October. So it's a completely new web interface. It may change a little bit from how the desktop looks like, but anyway, to give you a first impression how this feels and looks like. So we have some nice buttons here, nice functions like the home button, where you can do a safe configuration of the current system, reboot the system, and so on. It also gives you a link to the pattern web page if you would like to search for a new software to be loaded onto that device. Network settings, if you want to set a new IP address, you can do that here. Or if you want to see some alarms, so you can also see it opens up new windows. You can move them around pretty easily. You can resize the windows, so you can pretty much do whatever you like. So you can customize it with all the windows you would like to see on the web interface. So everything which is interesting to you. Here an example on how the configuration page will look like for the E1T1 port. So here it's going to look like this, where you have different options like to enable or disable the port, to set various settings for that specific port. So that's how the Trinity web interface is going to look like. Good. Then moving on to the next one, the CLI. So this is something maybe more for the technical person of you listening to that webinar. So for all of those who already know the smartware CLI functionalities, it's going to be similar or almost the same, but of course with some new functionalities, some new thing which could make the life easier in terms of configuring units. So one thing is that we've added the functionality that you can change, let's say as an example here, you can change the IP address within one command. So it's not necessary anymore to enter the context IP first and then to enter the interface LAN and only then configure the IP address. So that's something which can be done within one command, as illustrated here on the top. Furthermore, we've added the command shortcuts. That means you can type in sh run, hit enter, and it will convert automatically to the full command, which is show running config. So that's also pretty useful. So it's not necessary anymore to completely type the entire command for that. Then another thing I just picked out here is the suspend option. So for instance, if you're running a debug log, which gives you a lot of output on the screen, you can just hit suspend trace. It will stop the debug output. You can do some modifications on the unit, for instance, and once this is done, you can do a resume trace, which means it will continue with the debugging output on that CLI window. in order to show you how this looks like, so this is the running config of a SmartNode with a Trinity software on it. So for all the people which are familiar with smartware, it looks pretty much the same. So there isn't a lot for you to learn new in this case. So it looks like the same from the structure, but with new commands we added, it's pretty easy. So it's probably best if you will download the software, try it out by yourself, so you can really get a better feeling on how the new functionalities feel like. So, like configuring a new interface, it's pretty easy. Type in interface, ISDN for instance. I just hit I and it gives me already the full command ISDN. I hit the tab and can go to the next one, selecting the interface. I hit an I, it already gives me the full command. Hit again, tab, and I'm there. So it's a pretty cool thing, and it makes it a little, it makes it a lot easier to configure the SmartNode this way through the CLI interface. Good. Then the last thing I would like to present here is the Trinity Documentation. The software can be found under the known location on our website at pattern.com/support/upgrades. So that's going to look like this. If you select a device like the 4970, for instance, which is supporting Trinity, you will find at the bottom of the page the section called Trinity Release. In there we have some information, some basic information which is useful to you, or information you should be aware of in terms of loading Trinity to your box. As you can see here, we have linked the comparison tool, which gives you an idea what we have on all the different software platforms available in terms of features. And further down we have a quick start guide in how to get Trinity loaded to your device, and also the next one, the next link, a quick guide how you can revert back from Trinity to smartware. Good. As I said, software is here, it's downloadable. Then the release notes, that's something we're going to add here as well. So once the new release in October is out, you will also find release notes giving you the delta between the 3.3.1 release and the new release coming in October. And also, as mentioned, the upgrade and downgrade procedure, it's all here. The feature comparison list, it's looking like this. So it's a page you can scroll down. It's much longer. I just make a snapshot here. So this is showing you a comparison between all the features we have across all the different operating systems running on our unit. So for the small units, the SmartLinks, SmartWare, which is running on all the SmartNodes, and the new Trinity platform. It's all visible on one page. Then another important point, the Trinity software configuration guide, that's going to be available next week. So we are going to have the first version, so that you can get yourself familiar with the new operating systems, with all the commands we have there. It's going to be located where we have all the other manuals, like the ones for smartware. It's going to be there next week. Good. So this is it from my side. I hope you enjoyed this webinar and presentation. So if there are any questions, Tyler, I guess you will moderate them.
All right. Well, first question for you is this. It says, looks like smartware configurations can be reused with Trinity. Is that right?
Yeah, that's let's say that's right for like up to 90%. So that's actually a good question. So we built a conversion tool which is built in. So once you're doing an upgrade from smartware to Trinity, it's going to convert your config of the smartware into Trinity. So it's not like converting all the settings, but our target is to be able to really convert like up to 80–90% of all the config settings. So the main thing is if you'll do a field upgrade so that you can reach the SmartNode again, so that you won't lost the connectivity. So that's really the main target we set ourselves, and that's going to be the case like this. So the config is going to be converted over.
All right. Next question is, will Trinity be providing SIP-to-SIP SBC features such as MWI, call transfers, etc., that are not available in the current offering? If yes, any ideas on the time scale, or is there in the stateful firewall of Trinity? Is it there in the stateful firewall of Trinity?
Yeah, so as I've mentioned at the beginning of my slides, so there is an ESBR hardware platform available, which is able to run Trinity on. So that also means that SIP-to-SIP calls are possible to do with that platform. It's not everything there in terms of features, but basic calls, that's something which is already now working on those platforms, and also the firewall is something which is already there and working on the ESBR model, such as the 5480 SmartNode.
All right. Well, if anybody has any additional questions, again, you can email any of us or contact support@Patent or sales@Patent. Next month's webinar, we'll go into some applications using our enterprise session border routers. We'll have some additional webinars, probably 2 next month, but you'll see that in my follow-up in the next couple of days when I post this recording and invite you to the next webinar. So thanks for joining us again. If you have any questions, just don't hesitate to contact us.
Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.